Two young best friends went out for a carefree hike, noticed a stranger following them, and decided to press record. Unknowingly, they captured the chilling final moments of their lives. A newly released video now offers haunting clues and powerful lessons. Together, let's uncover the crucial insights from Libby and Abby's tragic story, lessons that could protect you or someone you love. Hi, I'm Alicia Kozak. I was the first child abducted by an internet predator, and for over 20 years, I have made it my mission to protect families from the evolving dangers online. From speaking in schools to educating the public through the media, from working with law enforcement to shaping critical legislation, I've dedicated my life to making the digital world and the real world safer. It was on February 13th, 2017, when 14-year-old Libby German and 13-year-old Abby Williams set off on what was supposed to be a simple hike through the Delphi historic trails in Indiana. They had no reason to believe that this outing would end in tragedy. Yet, when that evening came and they failed to return home, alarm bells went off for their families and the local community. By the next day, heartbreaking news had spread.
State police talking about the fear and concern in a small-town community after they announced that two missing girls were, in fact, victims of murder.
The girls' bodies were found not far from where they had been hiking, near the Monon High Bridge. Shock, disbelief, and grief quickly consumed the small community. This safe, ordinary place was suddenly the scene of an unthinkable crime, and two beloved young girls were lost forever. Their case remained unsolved for years, casting a long shadow over the Delphi community and prompting countless online discussions, investigations, and amateur sleuths determined to get justice for Abby and Libby. Concerned citizens came together on online platforms, podcasts, and social media. Many passionately analyzed clues, shared theories, and discussed every piece of emerging evidence. While this widespread interest kept the case in the public eye, it also led to challenges like misinformation and unfounded accusations. Their families lived with the agonizing truth that whoever had done this was still out there, possibly walking among them. And there were countless nights wishing that somehow the right evidence or tip would surface. Then, in 2022, 5 years after Abby and Libby lost their lives, a man named Richard Allen was arrested and charged. Investigators revealed that during a search of Allen's home, several knives and a firearm were discovered, with the gun allegedly linked through forensic testing to a bullet that was found at the crime scene. In 2024, Allen was sentenced to 130 years in prison. What you're about to see is a newly released 43-second video captured by Libby herself on her cell phone. The footage provides a chilling glimpse into the last moments before the girls were confronted by their attacker. First, we see Abby walking along the bridge, and behind her there's a distant figure who's approaching. As he draws closer, you can hear Libby and Abby become increasingly uneasy, their anxiety clearly rising. Libby continues recording, seemingly trying to rationalize the situation. Then, their fears become a reality as the man makes a chilling demand, and the recording abruptly ends. I want to be really clear. I'm not sharing this footage to sensationalize their tragedy or to turn their heartbreaking final moments into entertainment. Instead, my intention is to educate, empower, and potentially save lives by highlighting critical safety lessons we can all learn from what Libby and Abby experienced. Please be sure to view this respectfully and thoughtfully, keeping in mind the real lives and families behind it. We can only imagine the fear these girls must have felt, and my heart aches for how quickly the events escalated.
See, this is the path that we go down. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
I know that watching this video is painful, but it is vital, because within these 43 seconds there are deeply important lessons about instincts, courage, and safety that we all can learn from. One of the most significant lessons revealed in this footage is Libby and Abby's noticeable instinctual discomfort. Libby immediately sensed something wasn't right. Yet, like many young people, they hesitated, uncertain of how to act. Too often, many of us, whether children or adults, hesitate to firmly say no, refuse a request, or quickly leave uncomfortable situations because we're afraid of appearing rude or overly cautious. But hear me clearly here. Safety must always outweigh social expectations or good manners, no matter what your age is. Teach yourself and those around you that if your gut is screaming something isn't right, it's always better to risk offending someone or appearing overly cautious than it is to do nothing and regret it later. If something feels wrong, it probably is. As a survivor of violence, watching the footage deeply impacted me, not just as an advocate, but personally. I remember a moment where I sensed danger, but I hesitated because I wasn't certain. I questioned my instincts, and that hesitation nearly cost me my life. This personal experience is why I'm so passionate about empowering others, and it's essential that we learn to trust our instincts immediately. without apology or second guessing. Because in those critical moments and seconds, trusting yourself could be the difference between safety and tragedy. My hope is that by sharing these lessons, we can give ourselves and our children the confidence and tools to act quickly and decisively whenever danger feels near. Another critical aspect that was revealed in this video is Libby's bravery and the presence of mind. Though she must have been frightened beyond words, Libby had the extraordinary courage and clarity to discreetly record what was happening. This quick thinking act provided crucial evidence, helping authorities eventually identify the man responsible. Closely related to this point is the critical concept of situational awareness. Abby and Libby clearly sensed something was wrong. They noticed the man behind them and openly commented on their discomfort. Unfortunately, the events just escalated too rapidly, leaving little time for them to react. Situational awareness means recognizing potential danger early, paying close attention to details like unusual behaviors, uncomfortable body language, or someone who's approaching too closely or too quickly. The sooner you notice these red flags, the better your chance of avoiding or safely escaping the situation. Practicing situational awareness doesn't mean living in fear. It means equipping yourself and the people you care about with the skills to confidently and decisively respond when something feels off. When discussing a tragic case like this, it's important to reinforce that while stranger abductions remain statistically uncommon, they are still a reality, and I'm living proof of that. This is exactly why we must teach our children about personal safety consistently, openly, and honestly. Conversations about safety should never stop at a certain age. Older kids and teens still need ongoing guidance and reminders. And even though Richard Allen was eventually convicted and the community could breathe a sigh of relief, the trauma of losing two bright young girls can never be erased. For family and friends, the grief will linger for a lifetime. As we discuss their case publicly, we should do so with the utmost respect. There is a natural inclination to want to piece together every detail of what happened, or to speculate on what the girls might have done differently. But we have to keep in mind that behind every article and update is a family still dealing with the loss of their daughters. In the years following the tragedy, their case became a focal point for intense public speculation and a flood of online rumors. The unresolved nature of the case prompted amateur investigators and online communities to passionately analyze every clue, theory, and possible lead. Some absolutely and genuinely hoped their efforts might assist law enforcement, while others simply fueled wild speculation that often distracted from the facts. One particularly notable theory that gained public attention was known as the Odinist ritual theory, brought forth by Richard Allen's own defense team. They claimed that the girls' deaths were linked to Odinist or pagan rituals, suggesting that the crime scene displayed symbols and elements consistent with ritualistic practices. This dramatic claim rapidly spread online, further fueling discussions and creating intense public speculation. Ultimately, investigators thoroughly examined and dismissed these allegations, concluding that they lacked credible supporting evidence. Yet, even today, these sensational claims continue to complicate the narrative surrounding this case, emphasizing the need to approach such theories with skepticism and caution. In addition to the rumors and theories that circulated online, perhaps the most troubling development was the unauthorized leaking of crime scene photos. These leaked images were not only deeply disrespectful and invasive, they were morally wrong and devastatingly harmful. Crime scene images of children are not clues to a puzzle, nor are they content for entertainment or casual speculation. They are profoundly painful evidence of real human suffering, trauma, and loss. When these images were irresponsibly shared online, it compounded the trauma experienced by Libby and Abby's loved ones, who were forced to endure yet another violation of their privacy, dignity, and their grieving process. Please, this case and other similar cases are not entertainment. True crime stories often captivate audiences, but we must never lose sight of the humanity that is at the center of each and every single case. Behind every victim is a family experiencing unimaginable grief, trauma, and loss. Sharing sensitive photos, especially images involving child victims, turns real pain and tragedy into a spectacle, and it diminishes our humanity in the process. These images do not bring us closer to understanding or solving cases. They only add to the pain and the sensationalism. As someone who survived a stranger abduction that made national news, I deeply urge everyone, especially those who engage with true crime content, to approach these cases with respect, sensitivity, and empathy. Libby and Abby were real people, and high-profile cases are not some fun whodunit mystery. We honor them not by sensationalizing their tragedy, but by committing ourselves to compassionate, respectful discussions, meaningful advocacy, and proactive prevention. Everyone is so ready to fight for justice, but in order to do so, you must first show respect. And it's important for all of us to remember that while public engagement can sometimes aid investigations, rampant speculation and rumor spreading cause real harm, both by interfering with official investigations and by intensifying the emotional trauma that's been experienced by the families. And somehow I've even seen victim blaming in this case, along with lots of, if I was in that situation, I would have conversations. After a tragedy like this, people often try to rationalize why it happened, sometimes unintentionally and intentionally, placing blame or suggesting what victims could or should have done differently. It's critical we remind ourselves and our communities that the blame rests solely with the perpetrator. Libby and Abby did nothing wrong. They were simply enjoying a hike, spending time together as friends, doing something kids everywhere should be able to do safely. For you who are watching this who are parents, you might be concerned that your children will come across the video of Abby and Libby on social media and read the case details, and it may be hard to shield them from it. So instead, you can use this as a teachable moment. Address it directly, calmly, and truthfully. Allow your child to express their thoughts and feelings, reassuring them that tragic cases like this are rare, but they do happen. Explain that Libby's bravery provided crucial evidence, and discuss how the girl's instincts were accurate, reinforcing how important it is to listen to those internal warnings. Open conversations like this are an opportunity to teach your child skills that will last them a lifetime. And now, as we're nearing the end of this video, I want to once again express my profound sorrow for what happened to Abby and Libby. Their story is absolutely breaking, and it's a reminder that none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. Yet, even in the darkest moments, there are lessons about human resilience, about how communities unite in the face of tragedy, and about how technology can serve as a powerful ally in the pursuit of justice. By continuing to speak their names, by learning from their final moments, and by passing on these lessons, we can keep their memories alive and possibly save another life in the process. And I encourage you to pass this message along to your friends, family, neighbors, educators, and community members. It's in this collective sharing of insights and best practices that we stand the greatest chance of preventing future tragedies. If each of us does our part, listening, encouraging, situational awareness, and promoting empathy, we weave a stronger safety net for everyone. Abby and Libby deserved a long and happy life, and although we can't change what happened, we can ensure their legacy informs and protects in the future. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Please hit that like button, it really does help share this critical message, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. I'm Alicia Kozak, and I'll see you in the next video.